Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Ash, and today I'm going to be talking about how to choose the right travel gear for your first solo trip or adventure overseas. Awesome, so in this next section, I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite travel accessories and gadgets that really make my trip so much more streamlined, organized, and just convenient. So first one is having a travel-sized toiletry bag. Now, this can depend on the type of trip that you are organizing. So for example, I have two. So this one is one I ordered online and I love this one, but it's better if I'm going somewhere where I'm gonna have a suitcase and I have a lot of space. Like maybe it's just like, this is more kind of like my local travel one. So like if I'm doing a weekend trip away or a week plus trip away, somewhere where I want to have all my makeup, have all my moisturizers, my skincare, all that stuff, then I have this big bad boy. And check it out. So what happens is that it unfolds into this whole sort of long travel toiletry kit. And what you do, it's got a little hook at the top. And what I love is I can just hook that on the back of my bathroom door, and then I can have my eye makeup in here, my skincare here, it's got all these different pockets for different things. And then when you roll it back up, you've also got a bit of space in between all the pockets to kind of fit stuff too, which is really cool. So this is one that I have, and I'll link to it online because you can just buy it, I think, off Amazon. But the downside is that it's a bit big. So if you're going backpacking or you're doing a longer term trip, or maybe I think just this one, it's a bit of an awkward shape. It might not suit you if you've got a backpack. Whereas I've got another one. Here's my other one. So this one is also by Tripped. Again, you might notice a theme here, but I do really love their products. But they've got, again, a little hook at the top, and then you've got this kind of drop down bag, but you can see it's not as big as the other one. And what I really like is that they've got multiple compartments here, so you can put different things in the different areas. You've got this little one here, which it's got sort of like two smaller sections. Whoops, I don't know if you guys can see it, but two smaller sections with kind of like a divide. And then you've got this one here, which is just like a plastic watertight bag, which is probably good if you've got some things like toothpaste or sanitizers or little bottles. But this one's also detachable. So if you don't want it, you can actually just unclip it and not take that one with you. But I always find them quite handy, so I tend to keep it all as it is. But yeah, this one you can see it's a lot smaller. It has a lot less space. So, you might not be able to have all your makeup, all your skincare, all that stuff in this one. But it's really good when you do only just want a smaller toiletry bag. Maybe you're traveling for a shorter period of time. So yeah, this bigger one can be good, but the shape's a bit more rigid. So yeah, something a bit more squishy like this one might be more suited to you. But it just depends on how much toiletries you have and what you need from a space perspective. So next, another area where I have so many of these I can share with you is universal travel adapters. So now you really do want to have, I think you want to have a universal travel adapter, because when I was traveling overseas for the first time, I did that 1 year backpacking trip. I think I had an adapter for every continent or everywhere it actually changed the PowerPoint. I had an adapter. So I had this plastic bag. I think I had 5 adapters in there, and it took up so much freaking space, and it was painful. I had to bloody pull them out of my bag every time or use a different one all the time. But since then, these have now come out. You can get universal travel adapters, but I have so many. So this is my favorite. Actually, where is it? Found it. Okay, this one's my favorite. This is the Lenscent travel adapter. So that's your front port, and you can put your Australian or whatever your main plug is back home in here. It's also got 3 USB ports and also the USB-C, is that what you call this one? But there's the smaller one that's often a lot more popular these days. And what you can do is, in the back here, it's got all your different adapters, and it has a little little system here where you just slide that along and then it will pop out the plugs that you need. So for example, EU, you just push that one out and then you've got your EU plug, and you can either have it where it's the full, like a really narrow socket EU plug, Or you can actually, I think, pull it in. So push the little button down, pull it back a bit. So it's just the prongs, like just like this, or the full way, so like that. And then you've got, so that's Europe, and you press this little button on the side to pull it back in. Then you've got UK, for example, where you will then push that out, and it's got a 3-prong. So you can kind of see that there, your 3-prong adapter or plug socket. And then you've got your USA and Australia one here. And again, where you can kind of move them so that they're vertical to match, I think it's the US, or you can angle them to then fit the Australian plug. So I love this one. This one's my favorite. I love that it comes in a little compact case that you can just, you know, keep everything nice and tidy. And yeah, I really, really love this one. I haven't had problems with it to date, and yeah, I really, really like it. So I'll make sure to link the LensSense travel adapter in the description below, so you guys can check that out if you need to get one, because this one's really good. Other ones too, like this one, it's a bit fugly to be honest, but it's called a Scross, I think. Oh, it's a Switzerland brand, so I probably can't say that. But Scross, don't know. But similar kind of logic, where again, you'll press out your little bits and pieces, and you can use the little plug, the little button to pull them back, and same. So the same idea, you've got your little slideys, you've got your main like laptop port. The downside of this one is it doesn't actually have any USB ports, but I think because when it's it's designed in Switzerland, it does feel quite heavy. I'd say it's quite a high quality brand, but yeah, I do prefer the LensSense one because it has the USB plugs as well. So yeah, tons and tons. Like I honestly, guys, I've got so many adapters, and see, like this is what I mean that isn't a universal adapter. So see how this one is for Europe, I think as well. I think it's Europe. Yeah, and see how it's got the prong at the back, but that's it. It's just for a wall socket, and that's it. Same with this one. I think this is UK. This has the same thing where it's just the plug, and again, you only can put in your laptop and just put it straight into the wall. Yeah, I've got tons of these. Like I think that's Europe. Yeah, but so I have a million. I have gone through a lot throughout my time, and I've definitely had an adapter for like every country. I don't recommend it. It takes up a ton of space in your baggage. So I would 100% recommend check out the LensSense Universal Travel Adapter. I'll include a link to it, and yeah, because I find that one is quite reliable and actually really, really good. So yeah, give that one a go and let me know what you think. Next up as well, I want to talk about power banks and portable chargers. So power banks are great because it means that if you don't have access to access to a wall port, you can actually still charge your device on the road and on the go. And trust me guys, these can be a lifesaver. I've had so many instances, like this is mine here. It's called the Anchor power bank. I can't quite remember what size it is, but I'll link it in the description below, or at least the closest one I can see that relates to it. But what this is it has a little a little cord, and you can just plug it into, I think, a USB, and you charge this baby up and just keep it. It's quite small, as you can see, like that's my hand. You know, it's quite small in size, and you can just keep that in your main backpack or your handbag, and it will save you on those days where you're using your phone a lot for maps, or you've really drawn down on your battery taking photos, and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm down to 5%. What the heck do? I can't see a wall adapter, or I don't have my adapter. What the heck do I do? This little guy comes in so handy, and especially when you're on like public transport and you're commuting between destinations and need to charge your device. I don't like to travel without one of these, because it gives me that added level of security and confidence that my phone and everything's not going to run out of battery. So, and I think it can charge quite a few things. Like I've charged my phone off it, and you know, anything really that has a USB charging cord, you can use that for, which is awesome. So yeah, I'll include a link to that one as well in the description below, so you can check it out. Another tech accessory that I find really, really, really handy is a portable hard drive. Sometimes I like to be a little bit old school. Like you've got Netflix now that you can load onto your phone, and you can use that when you have internet or Wi-Fi source. But my little comfort thing when I'm traveling is I love to have a hard drive of movies and TV series and things that I can just binge when I want to have like a chill day or feel kind of grounded and feel like I'm back home. So I have a couple of different portable hard drives. This one has definitely been through a lot. I think my Parrot has chewed it like crazy, but it's still alive somehow. And this is my more recent one, which is a little bit smaller. It's not as heavy. And yes, I write my name on things. But yeah, they're both great, and they don't take up a ton of space in your bag. And the other reason why they're great too is that if you're taking a lot of photos, sometimes you can have it, depending on the quality of your photo or videos, they can take up a lot of space on your devices. So having a external hard drive can be really great to store those on without having to worry about running out of space or, having to delete stuff because you need to make more space for it or something else. So yeah, portable hard drives can be great. I think my brands, if you've got a Seagate one, I think it's a Seagate as well. Yeah, Seagate. Both of mine are Seagate. I ordered them both online and I love them both, and I've been happy with them both. I haven't had issues with them since. And I think this other Seagate one that I have, the older one that's been chewed, that one I think it's over 5+ years old. It might even be over, it's more than that, maybe 7+ years old. Scary. And it's still working, it's fine. So I'll link some of the Seagate hard drives in the description below too, and a couple of others which I find that look quite good. They can just be a good little option just to keep in your back pocket and have with you while you travel for that extra storage and for movies if you want that. The next little travel accessory that I think is often overlooked, but it is important, is a sleeping mask. So I feel like having earbuds, a sleeping mask, and a sleeping pillow, like a blow-up inflatable one, can be really good because when you're traveling between destinations, it can really be helpful to sleep. But also, guys, something people don't think about, if you're staying in a hostel, people are coming in and out all the time. So sometimes you might be trying to sleep. Maybe your other people in your room have been out at night partying or doing something else, and then they come home at a ridiculous hour and turn lights on or start doing stupid shit, and you're trying to sleep. So what I love to do is I've got this face mask, and it's got like little, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there you go. So see how it's got actually kind of holes in this area for your eyes. So that way it's not just like pressing up right against your eyeball and your eyelashes. It actually has space for your eyes. But what I love to do is I've got my little face mask on, and I'll have like I'm kind of moving away from the foam earbuds. I'm getting more of those like silicone ones, but I'll put my earbuds in, can't hear a thing, or maybe if you prefer your noise cancelling headphones or earphones or earbuds, that's totally cool. But between having a sleeping pillow, a sleeping mask, and that, then you'll be pretty good to go, whether you're staying in shared accommodation or you're going to be on flights or on transport and you actually want to try and get some sleep. So don't forget those little accessories because they are really helpful, and they really come into play in situations where you might not have thought about it. So think about that too. So some good brands in terms of your headphones, like you've got your Sonys, your Bose, all that kind of thing. I like to just go cheap, and I just get like little silicone ones or little foam ones. So yeah, I'll link some below and you can definitely check them out in the description. And finally, one of the other items that I do not travel without, let me just grab it, is a microfiber travel towel. So with microfiber travel towels, they're a lot smaller and they're faster drying, a lot lighter than a standard bath towel, and they'll also save you a ton of space in your luggage. So I have two. I've got this Euphoria travel towel, which I love, and is really good. And this is probably the one I use the most at the moment. But I also got this Escape Outdoors travel towel, which was from Kathmandu, I believe. And this one's really, really cool too. It's a nicer color, but I do find the materials actually are a little bit different. So you can see this one, it's more like a towel in terms of material. But then you've also got then this one, which is a lot more of a different material. It's like more of a fine sort of felt-like material. Both of them are great. I find they work. This one's a bit more sticky to your skin, but I find that it actually dries faster. It works really, really well. So yeah, definitely consider getting a microfiber travel towel, especially if you're going to be changing between destinations a lot and you're not going to have a lot of time for your towels to actually dry, because there's nothing worse than when you have a smelly wet towel in your bags and that mustiness starts to pass through all your other clothing as well. So the other advantages of why we go for a microfiber travel towel is because typically microfiber, that material has antibacterial properties, and they prevent the buildup of like nasties and bacteria and germs and bad odors and things like that in your towel. So they tend to last for a longer period of time. when they're wet and they don't smell as much versus your standard bath towel. I also find that they're a lot more absorbent than your standard towels. I think some of them can absorb 4 to 5 times their weight in water. But at the same time, despite that high level absorption, they actually dry a lot faster, which is really great if you're in a winter destination or somewhere and you don't have a lot of warmth to dry your towels quickly. Another thing as well that's great with them, as I said, is that you don't have to wash them as regularly. I know it's a bit gross, but when you're backpacking, sometimes you don't have access to water washing or laundry facilities. So it is great when you actually have a towel that you can reuse again and again and again and not have to wash it after every time. And yeah, they're really great. I highly recommend microfiber travel towels. I'll link my other video that I've got below that talks about microfiber towels specifically, and I go into quite a lot of detail reviewing a couple of different products as well. So definitely check them out, but I will include Euphoria, and I'll see if I can link some other really great options in the description below too, so you can easily check them out. And finally, another good thing to think about as well, is there any, that was a weird noise, any safety travel gear or travel gear that you want to pack from a safety perspective and a security perspective. So some examples include like you can get backpacks that have like an anti-theft sort of designed pocket, or like they have zips kind of on the inside or covered by little flaps, or they might have the zips in the back part of the bag, so the bit that goes against your back, so you can hide your valuables in there. Some of them have lockable zippers, and that's the ones that I often go for, is ones that either have lockable zippers, or with my backpack they have the little holes in the zippers, so that then you can actually fit a lock on it if you want to. I definitely did that for my first trip because I was a little bit paranoid, but it worked for me because I didn't have any problems happen to me. But I'd actually lock my main section of my backpack that had like my passport, my laptop, and all my different things in it, and it worked perfectly. And it wasn't too much of a hassle because I just used a coded one with, like, you got like a code, and it was really easy to just get in and out of my bag. So I loved that. That was great. Some other ones is like RFID protection. For example, you can get wallets that have that, or sometimes credit card holders. There is a bit of inconsistency on the internet though about whether or not RFID protectors actually do what they say they're going to do, and actually what they're meant to do is block out like the waves and the signals from like card readers or your credit card. Card readers from your credit card. So if someone's trying to like scan your credit card while it's in your bag, it can't access it. There is an RFID slip that I think it's like I've got a metal casing, or there's like a foil or something in it that stops the waves connecting. Again, I'm not a technical person. I don't know how that really works, but I did have them for my trip. I had these little cardboard RFID credit card holders, and I also bought a wallet that had RFID protection within it. I didn't have any issues happen, so maybe it did work, but there's definitely some mixed sentiment out there on the internet of whether, there's some products out there that actually don't work because they say they're meant to work. So, I'll let you make the decision on whether you get any of those for you. The other ones is having like a money belt or hidden pockets within your items. So it's like what I said with your backpack, is sometimes having the packing cubes and little pockets can be great because you can hide little bits and pieces in there and valuables, and they're not easy for people to find and get to. I've definitely done that a lot of times. Like in my first trip in Indonesia, I did it as well with my bigger trip through Africa, Middle East, and Europe. I didn't wear it for the whole time in Europe, mainly just in countries that are more of a higher risk. So like keeping my passport on me, keeping like spare cash, and items that I don't really want in my bag in case I've got to run, or like it could get stolen. So something to think about, whether you want a really thin little money belt that can fit under your pants and kind of above your like lower tummy, and just have it for sort of easily accessible. But I must say, don't put anything in there that you need to access regularly, because there is nothing more awkward than when you're trying to be subtle. You're trying to kind of like access your pants, and people are watching you like put your hands kind of down your pants or like under your jumper as you're trying to like discreetly get something out of there. Like, it really isn't a good look, and it's also incredibly awkward, and it's so hard. Like, I had cash in there once, and I was trying to pull out just like one little note, and I kept pulling out the rest of it. I'm like, And so learn from me, or try it out yourself and see if you love it or if you don't. But I don't use money belts as much now, unless I'm going to a place that's higher risk and I need somewhere to put my passport or my like main money that is not going to be accessible to pickpockets and things like that. Something else, this will give you an insight to how paranoid I guess I was for my first trip, but it worked really well for me. So I love myself for being this diligent. But you can also get personal safety devices like whistles and alarms. And I got rid of mine very quickly because I had a alarm. I got it online, but I had this alarm where what you do is if you hold down, so you have it in your hand or whatever, and if you hold down the button for like 5 seconds or whatever it is, then it starts sending off this alarm like this really high pitched, like squealing alarm. So obviously the intent is that as soon as you send that off, like the person freaks out and run off and leave you alone. But I was on a plane and mine started going off in the cabin. So what had happened was I had put it on my main backpack, but what I didn't realize was I had pressed my backpack obviously up against the bottom of the chair or against my foot. I don't know what I did. And it set it off. And so I had this like piercing alarm going off. I was so embarrassed. I was like, people were all looking around and like, what is this sound? Like, where is it coming from? There's me trying to like scramble through my bags to turn off this freaking alarm. And then finally I got to it. And after that embarrassment, I don't think I carried it ever again. I'm pretty sure I binned it as soon as I got off the plane. So I'm like, fuck that. I don't want that happening to me ever again. So yeah, there are options out there if you want to get some form of personal safety device. There can be some really great ones. Maybe a whistle is good. But yeah, some of those press to set off ones, maybe just be really careful on where you put them in your bag so that they don't get set off unintentionally. Cool, so that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. So we talked about some of the important considerations to think about when you're choosing the travel gear for your trip, especially when it's your first solo trip overseas. So it's a really exciting time because buying stuff is fun and getting all your travel gear is really, really exciting. But as I've highlighted, there's a couple of things you really want to think about and look into and different types of products before you then buy everything, because there might even be some things you buy and you never need. So a lot of the products I've gone through today, they are important. I use them almost on every one of my trips. And yeah, they can be really, really great from a convenient perspective and just add a lot of value and convenience and just make your trip a lot smoother as well. So I hope you found value in the video. If you did, please make sure to thumbs up the video below. Also leave any comments. If you have any questions or anything, I'll try and do my best to answer them. You can always subscribe to our channel for more tips and advice on travel gear. And yeah, otherwise I really hope that I can continue to hold your hand throughout this journey, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next video. All right, see you guys.